All right, so in the last video we created this form here. There's one change I want to make to this form in particular. I kind of jumped the gun, I think, when I actually made this form here. And instead of, say, assigning all the data from the user that comes through, because I don't want that extra data exposed here from this user, I just want the data that we have in here. So basically the three properties. And one easy method we can create to accomplish this is, I'll add that method here. Bear with. And I'm just going to call it assign user to data. Okay. Don't need to pass any parameters through there. And all we're going to do is we're just going to take the object.keys functionality. We're going to retrieve this .data because this is going to have the only data that we need in here. And we're going to loop through it as obviously the array of keys that's returned to us. Okay, so we'll say key, and for each key, I just want to take this .data key and make it equal to this .user key. So basically, it's only going to retrieve these three items: name, email, and role. And that takes care of it for us. Now when we load the component, when the component's completely loaded, then all we need to do is call this function, assign user to data. And the other thing is down here. Assign user to data. Okay, now this should work. Let's also create a store method. Actually, in this case, we're going to call it update because we're editing something. So we'll say update user. And for now, we're just going to console log the details that we have there binded in our form elements. So this .data. All right. So what are we looking at there now? Okay, perfect. And now every time this is clicked, we'll say at click.prevent equals update user. Okay. Let's go back to our form here. We'll refresh the page. We'll go to edit this user. I'm going to open up our console. I'll click on this. And what comes through is the email, the name, and the role. If this was changed, for example, comes through again. And once again, role we have as admin name, so on and so forth. Okay. So that's good. I'm happy with how that looks in there. Now, what we need to do is basically give it a way to post with our endpoint. So let's first of all configure that endpoint. So we'll say axios.post. This is actually going to be a put method we'll use. And it'll be data/users. And we're going to pass through the actual user ID. Like so. And our parameters in here that we're going to add will be method put. We need to pass through name, which is going to be this.data.name. Pass through email, which is going to be this.data.email. And role, which is going to be this.data.role. Now that data should go through. So if we don't have any issues, basically we want to console log our response in there. Okay, now let's go to our routes page. So routes, web data, under users, I want to put a put request in here. Okay, so put, very simple. All we need to do is pass in user. And we'll go to the users controller. And that one's going to be an update method, which of course we will have to now create. Let's go to the users controller. So that's going to be under data, users controller. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put this in after store. So public function, update in this case, and we're going to pass our request in. And we also need to pass user in as well. I believe that's already been brought in, but yeah, it has. Okay. And we'll say return. How do we actually want to do that? We'll just return for now that array of items. Okay. Let's go ahead and submit this form. We'll refresh. We'll edit to in here. Update user method put London Tyson. Tyson London 2. So this is what's coming back from our response. That's what's being console logged out here. So that's great. We're in good shape here. Let me see one other thing. Just want to verify that that's actually the case. Response console.log response.data. If you want to see what the whole response object looks like, then that's simple enough. You just get rid of .data and you get the whole response. So in this case, we get what's in the headers, what's in the data, what's the status of it, so on and so forth. If you ever needed those details, then now you have access to it. So, all right, okay, so we're good there. We know our endpoint is good, and in the next video, we will create a request for the update and allow us with the middleware to make sure that it's just an administrator that's actually updating this.